Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss. This is my double review for episodes 1 and 2 of the second season of Freezing Vibration. Now, these two episodes are actually pretty simple, um, especially the first episode, because the first around 13 minutes are filler, entirely filler. So, rather than talking about that, I'm just going to talk about the fact that they skipped an arc in the manga. If you look at where the first season ends and where this second season starts, they've actually skipped an arc. It's an arc where Satella and Kazuya they go to Satella's hometown, to her mansion where the rest of the Elbridgets are, and we learn a little bit about her past, her brother, her sister, her dad. We learn about her past pretty much. Um, but I guess I guess I can understand why they skipped it since it's not like there's any character growth from Satella or Kazuya. They they technically got closer, but not really. You don't really see it at all. So I mean, I guess I can understand why they skipped it. It's not the most important thing in the world, but figured I'd point it out anyway. But pretty much this arc is about Evolution Pandora's, or the E Pandora. Pretty much what it is that all girls are tested at the age of 11 to see whether they'll be compatible with Stigmata. If they are, then they can elect to become Pandora. But if they aren't, then they're kind of screwed. But the E Pandora project wants to take ordinary girls who aren't compatible with Stigmata and make them into Pandora as well. Now, Gengo Aoi, Kazuya and Kazua's grandfather, he's against it, but the project got approved anyway, so yeah. But we get up this little flashback of Elizabeth and everyone on the boat, and she's talking and she's saying that she doesn't have a problem with it. She thinks it's the right thing to do because there are a lot of girls who are compatible with Stigmata but choose not to become Pandora anyway. Obviously, it's like joining the military. You're gonna fight against Nova, and a lot of you are gonna die, so it makes sense not to do it. And if these ordinary girls know the risks and still want to fight for their world, then they should be allowed to do it, which makes sense. But pretty much after this, we go to the E Pandora lab. There's this giant hall, bunch of Pandora from all over there. The way things are, because of the filler, it got like all messed up. But the way it's supposed to be is that Pandora from all over, every genetics in the world, they get invited, I guess you could say, to the E Pandora lab to provide data so that they can make the E Pandora stronger and better and make them succeed, make the project succeed. And this is where we're introduced to the 5 strongest Pandora in the world. Well, 30 years, I should say. Obviously, there's some Pandora stronger than this that are like teachers and everything like that. But we get introduced to the 5 strongest 30 years in all of genetics, every genetics. One of them is obviously Chiffon. She's a monster, and later in this arc, you will learn why. If you look carefully at the opening, you can actually see that there is a scene where Chiffon and Rana are actually fighting each other. So look forward to that. But Chiffon is obviously one of them. She's probably number 1. If she isn't, then there's a problem. But we also get introduced to Roxanne the Immortal, and she's from Genetics America. We get introduced to the Tempest Phoenix, Charles Bonaparte from Genetics France. She's one of my favorites, her and Roxanne. Then we get reintroduced to Cassie Lockhart, aka the Godspeed of the East. We met her in the first season, obviously. She was pretty important. Then lastly we get introduced to the Maverick of Walpurgis, Julia Moonberg from Genetics Germany. And Chiffon states that Elizabeth is probably right below them. Elizabeth says, maybe, but personally, I fought with Holly Rose, and she's probably stronger than me. She's probably 6th. Then they notice, hey, well, Holly Rose isn't here. Why isn't she? Why isn't the sixth strongest Pandora there? Maybe it has something to do with that arc that they skipped. In that Holly Rose actually dates Satellizer L. Bridget's brother. He's a limiter. And in that arc, a lot of stuff happens, and that is why she's not there now. So if you want to know the specifics, you can go read that arc. But so that's pretty much it for the majority of the episode. We get introduced to Scarlett O'Hara. She's the director of the E-Pandora project. Pretty much they're trying to collect data on the Pandora, like I said. And Roxanne, she's speaking to all the Pandora that are there. And Roxanne's listening to her, and she says that there are rumors that they've been working on this project before it was actually approved by Chevalier. And pretty much what that means is that they were experimenting on humans without permission, obviously, because it's experimentation on humans. But after she says that, the Pandora themselves appear, and Roxanne saying, "Oh well, look who it is! It's the products of human experimentation," and that's pretty much how the episode ends. Overall, I'd have to give it a 6 out of 10. It was average. I mean, the majority of the episode was filler, so yeah. But that episode gets a 6 out of 10. Now, for the second episode, pretty much it begins with just talking, different character interactions, Cassie and Satella and Rana and Elizabeth and Chiffon, just a bunch of character interactions. But after that, we get to the actual meat of the episode. It's one of the important parts of the episode. We have a mock carnival. So pretty much it's going to be the E-Pandoras fighting against the actual Pandoras. And first we have Rattle and Gina of the E-Pandoras, and they both get dominated. It's not even, like, I was surprised that they could use Excel, because they can't materialize their Volt weapons, but apparently they can use Excel, which I would assume that Excel is a tougher skill than materializing a Volt weapon. But apparently they could use Excel, but they can't materialize their Volt weapon. But while all this is going on, Secretary Spencer is observing everything. So he's going to be, I mean, obviously, as you can see at the end of the episode, he's important. But he's important in the arc, and he also has a specific relation to one of the characters who's already been introduced. I won't spoil that. Not like it's a big deal or anything, but I won't spoil it. So Secretary Spencer, he's observing everything. After this, we see that Amelia Evans is going to have the last match. And it's pretty obvious that Amelia is the leader of the E-Pandora. She is the one that they all look up to. She's the one they all look up to. They all follow her. She's the obvious leader of the E-Pandora. And she ends up going up against Elizabeth. And they're going back and forth, a little trash talking. Elizabeth starts off being kind, then kind of switches to looking down on her, then switches back to being kind later on. Pretty much she's saying, like, yeah, I am taking this seriously, but you still have no chance of winning, and I'm going to have to hold back against you. So she goes back and forth between being kind, but just looking down on her. So Amelia decides, I'm going to make this girl take me seriously. So she materializes her Volt weapon. So she's the only Pandora that can actually do that. She's obviously above the rest of them. But she materializes her Volt weapon, tries to attack Elizabeth, but Elizabeth catches it and just says, I'm trying to prove a point here, alright? You're obviously beneath me, you can't win. And then she ends up saying that the point of this carnival is to give them data to show the relative strengths of the E-Pandora compared to the actual Pandora. And she believes she has a duty to give them the most accurate data possible. Therefore, she's going to show just how far beneath her and the other Pandora that the E-Pandora are. So, pretty much, Amelia takes offense to that. She's not exactly happy, so she starts using double Excel, which is incredibly impressive for an E-Pandora, someone who isn't actually compatible with Stigmata from birth. And Charles mentions that. And she starts using double Excel, going back and forth, and Elizabeth ends up using Excel as well. So first she just slaps Amelia across the face. Amelia has the stigmata marks on her face as well. So Elizabeth, she's trying to get the match stopped because it's obvious that Amelia's pushing herself too far. But she doesn't want the match to be stopped. Scarlett O'Hara doesn't want the match to be stopped, so the match isn't stopped. Scarlett says that it's going to keep going until Amelia can't move anymore. So Elizabeth keeps using Excel. She starts kneeing her and kicking her, and she's trying to knock her out as quickly as possible so that she doesn't cause more harm to her body. Since the stigmata marks have appeared, that's not a good sign. But she keeps getting back up, and Elizabeth, she's trying to figure out, like, why are you doing this? Is it your pride as an Pandora? She keeps trying to figure, and Satella, she can't figure out either. She's trying to say, like, why do you care about this match so much? And there's a point where Amelia says, I appreciate that you're looking out for my well-being. You are actually a kind person, but your kindness actually hurts me. You don't realize how much your kindness hurts. And Elizabeth is surprised by that. Satella, she's thinking like, wow, this match means that much to her. Like, why? Like, for the life of them, these Pandora cannot figure it out. And it seems obvious to me, but I mean, they're not Pandora. They're Pandora. They have a different label than everyone else because they're worse than everyone else. Everyone looks down on them and thinks of them as worse than everyone else. So they have something to prove. Okay, and not only did Rattle and Gina lose, but those two, along with all the other Pandora, put all of their faith on Amelia. Amelia isn't fighting for herself. She's fighting for all of the Pandora to show that they can succeed, that they aren't failures, that the project will succeed, that they can fight for their world, for the human race against the Nova. So it's not just something as simple. It's not as simple as they're making out to be. Like, oh, this is just a mock carnival match. Why are you trying so hard? It's not that simple, but for some reason they don't get it. Elizabeth is the closest to getting it, I guess. But Amelia keeps getting back up, and eventually she loses consciousness while standing up, which shows how strong her resolve was. But she ends up getting brought onto the back, getting medical attention, etc., etc. And she overhears her and Gina and Rattle talking to each other, trying to raise their self-esteem a little bit. And after this, we, I guess, go to dinner. And Elizabeth, there aren't any seats available somehow. But there's one seat next where the Pandora is sitting, next to Amelia. So Elizabeth sits there. And apparently, during the mock carnival, they heard Elizabeth be announced as Elizabeth Mabley. On the big screen in front of them, it said Elizabeth Mabley. Yet somehow they didn't realize that Elizabeth was a Mabley. But whatever, that's not really important. Point is that Elizabeth gets to talking to them. At this point, everyone in the cafeteria has just stopped what they're doing, and they're paying attention to Elizabeth. And Elizabeth ends up telling them that, we didn't beat you because of our privileged backgrounds. We beat you because our bodies are compatible with stigmata from birth. That we've been Pandora longer than you. We have more experience than you. That's why we won. And the reason we're here is to use that experience, use our experience as Pandora, use the fact that we are Pandora, and provide data to these researchers for you guys so that we can make you stronger. That's why we're here, and that's what she tells them. So Amelia, they stand up. Rhonda yells over, like, "Yeah, we're here for you," and all this stuff. Everyone starts clapping. That's. So pretty much relations are restored between the Pandora and the Pandora thanks to Elizabeth. But after this, we see Scarlett talking with Spencer, and he tells her that they are going to use Mark IV. Now, we don't know what Mark IV is yet. I mean, I do, because I read the manga, but anime-only viewers don't know what Mark IV is yet. But it's pretty clear it's dangerous, because Secretary Spencer says, I don't care what happens to these girls. They're test subjects. We can get more of them if we need them. Just use Mark IV so that we can get results. So Scarlet reluctantly says okay to that. She doesn't really have a choice since Spencer is above her in the pecking order. But that's pretty much how the episode ends. We see in the preview that Gina has the stigmata marks on her face, and she's lying on like a gurney or like a bed of some sort. So, to do with that what you will. If you feel like using your deductive reasoning, then go ahead. I don't want to legitimately spoil anything, but that's pretty much how the episode ends. I thought it was a good episode, actually. I mean, the beginning was kind of slow with just character interactions and, Rana and Satella arguing over who should sleep with Kazuya in the room. But there were some good moments, especially during the mock carnival with Elizabeth and Amelia. So I'll say this was a good episode, and I'll give it an 8 out of 10. But yeah, that's it for now. I'm reviewing it weekly. I'm caught up now, so expect reviews every Friday or Saturday around then. I'll definitely have Kill La Kill up by the end of the day. I was planning on getting it up yesterday, but like I said, I had a psych exam to prepare for. Plus I had a club meeting, and I also forgot to account for the fact that Pokemon Y and X came out. Pokemon X and Y. So I've spent some time playing that too. But yeah, so that's why the review didn't come out yesterday. But Kill La Kill will definitely be up by the end of the day. Strike the Blood might be up by the end of the day as well, and maybe even Kuroko. So after that, I'll only have Magi, I guess. I only have Magi left. So I'm actually catching up. So look forward to that. But that's it for now. And I'll see you guys next time.